Hello everyone. So today we are starting step 4 of the fundamentals for mindfulness. And so today we are looking at noticing your thoughts still. I think this is probably the last one with your noticing your thoughts. But with your noticing your thoughts, you're going to notice, are they in first person or third person? And when I first recognized this, it's been years and years. I just remembered I was going for a walk and I was up in my head and I had my thoughts going on, and I noticed something. I thought, well, that's really, really odd, because my thoughts were not first person. It wasn't me talking to myself like, oh, I wish this, or oh, I that, or myself. My thoughts were you and your and that, and I thought, wait a second, I don't talk to myself in third person. This is really, really odd. And I really started to recognize that when you have your thoughts, when they're coming in third person, when you notice that they're in that third person format, they're coming from an outside source. So you might be ruminating over something somebody else said to you specifically, but there might also be like a best way to say this, an outside influence on a more spiritual level. So it could be a heavenly spiritual level where it's an encouraging thought process, or it could be an evil outside spiritual source where it's very discouraging. It's full of condemnation. And so by noticing that, you can actually look and see where that source is from. If it's originating from yourself, it's going to be first person, and you can then know how to work with that. But then if it's coming from a third person perspective, you can look at that and say, okay, well, am I just ruminating and playing over and over thoughts of, something that somebody else has said, and you can, learn how to quiet that? Or are these messages that are coming from the spiritual realm where you're being you're being encouraged by the Spirit in a positive way? And so when I started really understanding this a little bit more, I thought, I know where this is coming from, a heavenly source, because that heavenly source is always encouraging and positive. For example, if I had somebody that I needed to go and see, that message would be something along the lines of, you could go and see so-and-so and maybe do this and this. It was always suggestive. It was always still honoring my free will and my choices. But whenever it was coming from an evil source or a bad space, it was, you should have done this, and I can't believe you haven't done this yet. You're such a bad person, or you should be ashamed of yourself. Those types of messages. And that fascinated me to recognize that difference. And so for me, having that understanding of, are my thoughts first person, are my thoughts third person, it really helped me to recognize, there are just some thoughts I can just shut down and say, oh no, I am not even going to give you the time of day. And so whenever I started recognizing my thoughts in third person, I started investigating. All right, so where is this coming from? Is this encouraging or is this discouraging? And if it was discouraging, I had all kinds of attitude, and I was like, we are not even going there. It's over. And I would just shut it down. And I didn't have to feel bad about it. And if it was an encouraging thought, I always thought it was fascinating, because I was like, yeah, I could do that. And it not even should, not even and maybe that's just a syntax of language, because I have an idea and thought process around the word should versus could. So that's what today's fundamental is for step 4, is just recognizing first person, third person in your thoughts. Write it down. It's okay. You don't have to do anything with these right now, but you're really just trying to get used to these basics of what your thoughts are telling you, what kinds of thoughts that you're having, and being able to identify and notice them, because so often that's part of the problem, is we're just not even noticing. We're just going through our day with these thoughts running through our minds, and they're affecting us physically and emotionally and mentally, and in not a positive way most of the time, because we're just letting them run. But when you are aware of them and you start being very intentional with your thoughts, you're able to make choices, which is empowering to you, and it empowers you to improve your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, all of it, in your spiritual health. So that's your work this week, is to notice first or third person, and I will talk to you later.